Canadians are protesting against COVID mandates in the Freedom Convoy. But politicians are absolutely horrified. They want their country back. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. Canada's Freedom Convoy is approaching its third week since it began protesting vaccine mandates for cross-border truck drivers. Since then, it's expanded into a rallying point against all COVID mandates and government overreach in general.
Canadian cities faced disruptions on Saturday as protest against vaccine mandates spread from the capital of Ottawa to Quebec City to Toronto.
I think it's infringing a lot of people's movements, freedoms. People are isolating way too much now, especially in Quebec. The mandates, passport mandates, is too invasive. It just goes against everything that we have known as a democratic people.
You can't lock up healthy people and expect them to remain healthy, okay? So the children have not been in school. I personally believe that is wrong. We need to drop the mask, drop the mandates, and start living our lives again.
We're fighting for freedom, my man. We're gonna keep fighting, Trudeau. You have nothing on us, Trudeau. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. We're gonna defeat you, Trudeau. Freedom, freedom, freedom!
Freedom! Wow, that guy in the boxing gloves was like a Canadian William Wallace from the movie A Heart. But politicians, especially from the Canadian Liberal Party, which is in power now, aren't taking this too well. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has condemned the convoy. He's probably upset he didn't get the role of Canadian William Wallace, even though he also auditioned wearing boxing gloves. Trudeau accused protesters of trying to blockade our economy, our democracy, and our fellow citizens' daily lives, and Trudeau said it has to stop. Because blockading Canada's economy, democracy, and citizens' daily lives is his job. Government House Leader Mark Holland said this has gone too far. We will not be bullied. Which is confusing since Canadians' stereotype for being overly nice has led them to being bullied for centuries. Over in Canada's capital, Mayor Jim Watson said the situation is completely out of control. Protesters were behaving insensitively and blaring horns and sirens, setting off fireworks, and turning it into a party. We have to get our city back. Oh my heavens! Acting insensitively? With horns, fireworks, and partying? No wonder they're being bullied. Comments like that make me want to shove that mayor's whole city in a locker. How are they trying to get their city back? By declaring a state of emergency. Sounds bold and tough, but in reality, it defers no additional powers to the local mayor, besides making it easier to procure equipment for frontline workers. But according to Watson, declaring the state of emergency reflects the serious danger and threat to the safety and security of residents posed by the ongoing demonstrations. So it basically does nothing other than declare how upset you are. I feel like he could have just tweeted that from inside the locker he was shoved in. But it's not just politicians who are upset with the Freedom Convoy. More after the break. Welcome back. Critics of the protests call the Freedom Convoy an illegal occupation that's throwing city streets into chaos and galvanizing the far right worldwide. And even worse than that, they're honking their horns. That's just plain rude. Speaking of rude, according to a Liberal MP, the truckers were rude, aggressive, and intimidating in the local stores, which for Canadians probably means they only said "excuse me" and "sorry" 11 times instead of 27. CNN says some residents, especially in Ottawa, said they feel like they're being held hostage by demonstrators. To be fair, I also feel like I'm being held hostage whenever someone won't shut up about COVID, no matter what they believe about it. I'm over it. Can we change the subject? BuzzFeed says some convoy members have also been accused of harassing people at a homeless shelter, desecrating war memorials and monuments, waving racist flags and swastikas, snarling traffic, and obstructing a U.S.-Canadian border crossing. Many see this as proof that white privilege is driving this protest. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, on the bright side, it's probably a good thing that white supremacists are against shooting people up. A GoFundMe page raised over $10 million for truckers to pay for fuel and other expenses. That put GoFundMe at the center of attention, even though it's supposed to be just a third-party crowdfunding website. They don't provide the money or the goods, just the transaction. Ottawa Mayor Watson accused GoFundMe of fueling havoc in the neighborhoods. New Democrat MP Alistair McGregor won unanimous approval to call GoFundMe to a parliamentary committee to testify about how it ensures that money raised on its platform isn't used to promote hate, such as anti-Semitism and white supremacy. Liberal MP Tlaib Noor Mohammed even went so far as to compare Freedom Convoy funding to terrorist financing. Terrorist financing? So the money is coming from Saudi Arabia? GoFundMe apparently couldn't take the heat. It removed the Freedom Convoy's donation page last Friday, citing a violation of its terms of service by promoting violence and harassment. And honking, and fireworks, and partying. Who knew the terms of service were so specific? Oh, that's right, they're not. The executive director of Transparency International Canada said GoFundMe has done the right thing to deter threat financing. But critics of the Freedom Convoy say this wasn't enough. The Ottawa Police Service chief called the trucker protest a siege.
This remains, as it was from the beginning, an increasingly volatile and increasingly dangerous demonstration.
Now, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says he won't send the military to end the protest, possibly because he's still hoping to win the role of Canadian William Wallace. Any excuse to wear some more colored paint on his face. But that doesn't mean the police aren't coming up with their own way to handle this so-called siege. But there's more to the story than what many Canadian officials are making it out to be. I'll explain after the break. Welcome back. Politicians from Canada's ruling party, the one that has implemented the vaccine mandates, are portraying the Freedom Convoy as a dangerous military threat that must be illegitimized and defeated. Yes, because when I think of dangerous military threat, I don't think of tanks, drones, or guerrilla tactics. I think of trucks, driven by middle-aged, overweight guys hopped up on 5-hour energy and Slim Jims. Ottawa City Council member Diane Deans calls it a nationwide insurrection. This is madness. To which a trucker replied, "Madness? This is Canada!" At least that's how they imagined it. While it's true the Ottawa police reported investigations for mischief, thefts, hate crimes, and property damage, the police also issued hundreds of tickets for excessive honking, red light violations, driving a vehicle on a sidewalk, and setting off fireworks. Not exactly what I'd imagine an insurrection or siege to look like. That sounds more like a graduation party in New Jersey. In fact, the police chief himself admitted there have been no riots, injuries, or deaths the day before he called the protest a siege. He also said, "We are arresting, charging, and investigating bad actors." Some of these bad actors have been called out by the Ottawa truckers themselves. And according to the Justice Centre for Constitutional Freedoms, affidavit evidence filed in the Ontario Superior Court of Justice shows the Freedom Convoy has been working closely with the Ottawa Police Service, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and the Parliamentary Protective Service.
We've been completely open in sharing information about anything that could be public safety or security related. But when I see the disconnect between what's happening on the ground from what you're hearing in the leadership level,
100%.
That's a common theme in law enforcement. The top says one thing, the ground, that's not reflective of the ground level. That's my experience in the RCMP anyway. My primary concern has always been the individual or small group bad actors that are going to try and bring, tarnish the reputation of what we're trying to accomplish here. And they know that. The police all know that.
They're not a military threat, they're a bunch of snitches. And in Canada, snitches get stitches. For free since they have universal health care. According to the organizers, however, the government doesn't seem to be interested in communicating with them.
So far, no one from the federal, provincial, or municipal government has spoken directly with us. Instead, they are using you, the media, to portray us as racists, misogynists, and even terrorists. The reality is that members of this freedom movement are average, peace-loving, and law-abiding citizens from all walks of life who are fed up with being disrespected and bullied by our government.
So the government is being bullied and doing the bullying. This is like when a fourth grader is being bullied by a fifth grader, so they take out their frustrations on a third grader. Hurt people hurt people. While there are some annoyances like honking and bad actors, there are wholesome things on the ground, such as dancing, children, soup kitchens, meals for the homeless, and Tim Hortons donuts delivered by a moose. I mean, probably, it is Canada after all. Maybe there's more to the protests than just the utter destruction and chaos that people in power are making it out to be. As I always say in the show, things aren't always black and white. Except for Justin Trudeau, of course. So what do you think? Leave your comments below. And if you like the show, please know we could not do it without direct support from viewers like you. Visit patreon.com/AmericaUncovered and contribute $1 or more per episode to help us keep the show going. So click the link below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.